Beautiful. Okay. Please, if you can try not to leave the session whilst we put it on, and that would be better, because we create a sacred circle of protection and of light, and so only the highest and the best can come through. It's very beautiful, and here's to sisterhood.
Yes.
Yeah, so I see you in about an hour.
Yes.
Yeah. Blessings and love, we are here. We greet you all, sisters, goddesses of the light. We come to you from Lady Vesta, Mother Mary, and Saint Germain. We bring forth so much love and beauty and appreciation for each and every one of you, and welcome this auspicious gathering and auspicious timing. We wish to remind you to be positive in the grand scheme of things, for everything is evolving with additional blessings which you shall soon understand. We wish to remind you to keep your head focusing upwards, for really it is all about going upwards, onwards and upwards. We invite the first question of the evening.
Thank you. For all my life, I've been thinking that I have a huge potential, and I've been working so hard to reach it, but I don't feel like I'm there. It's always something missing. So should I keep focusing on my work, what I'm doing right now, the business, or should I change it to something else that I don't know yet?
You are a perfectionist. We would like to see you get more comfortable in your life and your understanding. For when you are a perfectionist, there can never be contentment. Indeed, you have great potential and great success, and yet what you must learn to adapt to is a learning to adapt your perfectionist nature into the reality which you are currently experiencing. That is how you can be grateful for what you are experiencing and be able to expand upon it. For really, you are seeking the guidance that is within your heart and spirit. For when you are looking for guidance, you are looking for achievements which are outside of yourself. They can sometimes seem unreachable. And yet find the guidance from within, and you will experience kindness and love from without. Whether you do what you are doing or whether you change is not really what you are looking for to be included into the answer. For the answer is about being content and acknowledging the success that which you experience and create. For when you are looking outside of yourself, you cannot fully delight in your success, even if you were to be the most successful being that had ever lived. So it is not whether you will be a success or unleash your greatest potential. It is more about harnessing and taming the perfectionist nature and achieving what you wish to achieve with additional blessings and contentment, for the contentment is needed. Therefore, you must remember to be kind to yourself and to realize where you have been and what you have achieved so far, and therefore keep propelling forwards and achieving more and more. That is the secret, dear one. We invite the next question.
Teşekkür ederim.
Thank you.
İşimi çok seviyorum
I love my
ve
job.
doğru mesleği seçtiğimi hissediyorum.
I feel like I've chosen the right
Ama
business.
bunu tatmin olarak yapacağım yeri bulamadığımı hissediyorum henüz.
But I feel like I haven't found the right space for fulfillment.
O insanları bulabilecek miyim? O yeri.
Could I find that place?
That I will feel fulfilled.
Daha doğrusu işimle ilgili rehberliğe ihtiyacım
What I
olduğunu
mean is
düşünüyorum.
I need the guidance about my occupation.
Çünkü birlikte çalıştığım insanların yanında kendimi yeterli hissetmiyorum.
Because I don't feel like I'm sufficient enough where I am working right now.
It is very interesting, as all of you here are present today are perfectionist in part of your character. Whether you have let it go or whether you are currently living it, you are all rather perfectionists in your nature, in your striving. There are different ways one can be a perfectionist, be it with spirituality, like the channeler, be it with profession, which is the majority of those present, or be it with those who are just striving to do their best and achieve what they were destined to. Perfectionism is a hard life. Really, the message today, just like the perfectionism, just like the sisterhood, it is less about striving, more about being, for when you can be content with what you have, you can perform miracles. For if you only have bread and butter, then you can still be content with it. And if, for some beings, they have a buffet, and they are never content with it. Really, the problem lies within choice. For when choice starts to overwhelm, it starts to cause problems. When perfectionist nature starts to be too strong, it can cause problems. And yet, when harnessed and applied properly, both perfectionism and contentment can be turned into mastery. For when you find the center point of consciousness, of evolution, of revolution, you will find what you have been looking for is always in front of you. Therefore, you are grateful, you have gratitude in your life, and yet really come to the center of all that you are. There is the need to network, and there is the need for an expansion of business and networking with partnership in your future career and professional life. But we wish to remind you, you don't need to strive too much. It's more about realizing that you are alive and achieving what you have always wanted to and desired, for you have choice. But remember, be the captain of your own ship. For if you think you are just a passenger and you can go anywhere, you have too much choice. And yet when you are on the path of mastery, you know you are the captain of your ship, so you go where you are destined to go. It is less about having to make choices, it's about everything flowing and going into the right situation. It sounds complicated, but it is much more profound and easy than one could imagine. We invite the next question, dear one.
Thank you. I would like to learn what's the purpose of my life. I'm doing acting right now, and I'm also working in a corporate life. I wonder that which one is for my goodwill.
Both tickle your soul and spirit. And yet we remind you again of the perfectionist nature. An actress is, and by doing acting, it is quite beneficial for you really. For it allows you to live many lives and not attach to your own life with too much seriousness and perfectionism. And yet when you apply it to your job in a balanced state, you can bring forth much evolution of all that you are. We are reminding you to look towards the stars, for when you look towards the star, you can be a star. Sometimes you self-sabotage yourself. You get so close to stardom, and then you self-sabotage. We say, pursue it, dear one, and know that you are capable of more than you could ever imagine. Really, the answer is by acting you are not attaching. It is more about allowing yourself to experience emotions that could sometimes be suppressed or not allowed to dance. Therefore, we wish to remind you the message of the stars. For just as the dots connect the stars, that is our guidance, dear one. We invite the next question.
Thank you. I have some concerns about my marriage, and we had some problems recently, and I just want to decide to, her question. That's her question. And it's like, and I also have concerns about, we were planning to do a new baby. Now I need a guidance to do a new baby, or to try. Should I try in the positive way to heal my marriage with a new baby, or should I leave it? And I really need, because we have really major problems with that.
Firstly, we would like to remind you the problems with the communication of the throat. Secondly, we would like to remind you, to guide you, to let you understand that there is much support from us in spirit. Do not be like your uncle. Do not get depressed for onwards and upwards. It is important that you do not bring a child into the situation of unharmony, for there is some inharmony that is not yours right now. It is more about acknowledging the support is there, and trying with the heart and the spirit of what feels right. Indeed, you are a gentle one, but you are always trying to perfect. Again, the message of perfectionism. Sadly, you cannot perfect another. For you cannot, if you are inside a glass, you cannot sparkle another being's glass. Whether you are soulmates or family or whatever. If you are inside the glass, first you must get outside of the glass to be able to sparkle another's glass. If you stay within, you can only stay within. That is about the perfectionist nature. By not being able to get outside of the situation, you're trying to perfect what you cannot perfect. And yet there is the need for the integration of the outside and the inside. The inside can be likened to the emotions, to the love, to the feelings. Indeed, that can help with mastery. And yet, if the window or the glass on the outside is murky and dusty, you will never be able to see out. The inner and the outer work must be done, dear one. And if someone else is polluting your window or your vision or your glass, you must take back your power and lovingly stand up for what is right for you. For if another being is polluting it, you must state your boundaries. This you have not done in the marriage, therefore it is time now for you to stand up for your rights and your boundaries and what you will tolerate and what you won't. For you have gone along with much of the decisions which have not served you for the highest state. Therefore, there is the need for you to inform what you will tolerate and what you won't. There will be more on this, dear one. We invite the next question.
Thank you for honoring us again. And I just want to clarify the messages I have taken before. I just understand that I should focus on my book and my events recently that I cannot, and I was trying to make a place, and the place is ready, what I heard from you, and so before June I get that I wouldn't have a place, my own place, and if it's the right thing that I understand, and so my twin flame is coming next in the beginning of next year. So I just heard that again there will some people who are gonna be my partners in my job, so I'm not alone. And I just want to thank you that I'm really blessed with this guidance, that it's the first time in my life that I really feel loved and protected. And I just wonder if I get the messages right, and I'm ready to hear if you have any messages to give me.
That is correct, dear one, and we would like to inform you, just like looking upwards and anointing, there is the need to bring the sacredness into your life. For we are guiding you, we are helping you with the hand, and we are pleased with your progress and your guidance of direction, for you are on the path of most success. Indeed, we would like to see more workshops and more retreats and more expansion of what you offer currently. And by doing your work, by achieving the new place, you will be able to facilitate a lot of exciting, expanding projects. We would like to remind you to always bring fun and enjoyment into all that you do. And we would like for you to remember that we are always with you and we always will be. We would like to again remind the message of the stars. For the stars are aligning perfectly now, dear one. There are no challenges. It is more about the mastery and giving others a sense of direction. For when you give others a sense of direction through the work that you do, through the nutritional guidance, through the alchemy of all that which is true and sometimes forgotten, you can bring holistic health. Never forget one's emotions, for you have compassion and insight. And a lot of beings, they just need to be acknowledged, they need to be held, they need to be loved. And the nutritional habits will improve as a result. If you try to fix the nutrition first, it is like putting fire on fire. It will not cooperate, dear one. When you address the emotions, you are addressing the root of any issue, of any concern. And when you have addressed the emotions, then you can go to the nutrition, then you can guide to the spiritual. So it is rather like a pyramid, rather like a triangle of the spirit, the emotions, and the body for nutrition. Always bring it to the triangle. And then the 7 days, the 7 colors, the 7 ways. For there is a lot of expansion, and there is, again, the inspiration. For there is a lot that inspires you. For we in spirit are assisting you, dear one. We are pleased. There are many guides with you, and there is much work expanding for you, and we are grateful for you hearing our calling. And indeed, remember to bring the color alive. For so many beings live without color. Color is a keeper of healing. We invite the next question, dear.
Thank you for honoring us. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the channeler. I'm grateful for all of us here. I am ready to do anything accordingly your guidance, to be able to walk in between the higher realms in total surrender. I'm ready for your guidance. Thank you.
We are proud of your work, and we are proud of your progress. We would just like to remind you, why walk when you can float? For you do not even need to fly. It is time for you to float between the worlds and truly merge. We have prepared your unification, and we are lovingly continuing to guide you, and we shall never abandon you and never leave you, dear one. We are proud of your progress. We wish for you to remember that you are loved and you are protected. We would remind you again to have fun, to play, to enjoy the journey, and to float. For you cannot float downwards. You can only float upwards. You will be speaking tomorrow. A lot indeed. But the message, we will give you one main message, and that is to float. For you can't float downwards, you can only float upwards. Never forget this, dear one. We invite the next question, dear ones.
Thank you. I need your guidance about my marriage, because I feel like I have married with my soulmate. Even though we were so happy and still, we are having some difficulties since the beginning of our marriage, and it mostly occurs as financial issues. So I cannot define actually just as a result it's a financial issues, but I cannot define what is really happening. So I need the guidance if it's anything that we should do.
You may be with your soulmate, but you are not with your twin flame. But this is neither good nor bad, it's just what is. The thing you need is to work with some crystals. We see the angel hair, the rutilated quartz. For the angel hair quartz connects you to the abundance and the harmony of all that which you are. Indeed, your current relationship, you are too similar. Sometimes you are topsy-turvy, you feel you are not. But there is this magnetic pull up and down, rather like a seesaw. One goes up, the other goes down, the other goes up, the other goes down. The relationship can work, but there needs to be equilibrium and balance. Normally we say change is good, for change is one of the only certainties in life, and yet in your situation we say stop. Stop moving. You need to have time together, and time where you're not thinking about the past or future or blame or judgment. There needs to be a harmony and equilibrium, and you need to go on holiday. For when you go on holiday, you will have this time together and the seesaw will be balanced. Things will improve after March, this we are sure of. And we remind you of the crystal that you need to work with, the rutilated angel hair quartz. And we remind you not as all as it seems, dear one. And when the seesaw is going up and down, remember to find the balance. For the equilibrium will bring harmony into the Mars and the Venus. For sometimes it is upside down, sometimes is it the right way. After March, things will improve, we remind you. And it is good to go on holiday the first week of March also. There will be much to celebrate, for we see a child on the horizon, dear one. We invite the next question.
Thank you. Çok sevdiğim ve sevildiğim bir yaşa sahip olabilecek miyim?
Am I going to have the husband that I loved and I am loved very much?
Ne zaman?
And when?
Ve anne olabilecek miyim?
And am I going to be a mother?
İlişkilerle ilgili rehberliğe ihtiyacım var.
So I need the guidance about my relationships.
Again, you have not met your twin flame yet. And yet they are coming. In your situation, we do not see one child, we do not see two, but we see three. And there will be twins, and then very shortly another one. For once you find romance, you will not be able to stop. And indeed, who is the stronger one? It is the female, it is yourself. For there will be 3 girls. And by having 3 little princesses, it will ensure that you are the stronger one in the relationship, and yet your true man will be very accommodating to your needs and to your the things that you deserve. For in the past, you were Egyptian royalty, you were an Egyptian priestess, and in this lifetime you have always felt it, you've always wanted it, and yet the situations of life have never really given it to you. You always felt you were a princess when you were very little, and that was because of your Egyptian priestess nature. And therefore, when you achieve the family and the relationships and the dynamics which you so desperately want, you will be living in harmony with your life's purpose, and the past life will merge into this one. And in your past life, it is not something which has to be healed, for not all past lives need to be healed. Some past lives need to be merged with this reality. This may be a new concept to some beings on earth, yet there is wisdom within it, dear one. We look forward to celebrating your wedding and your children, dear one. We invite the next question.
Thank you. I really wonder that I have a relationship for almost more than 2 years, and I really wonder that is he the right man for me? Will I start a family with him? I need your guidance about my relationship. Thank you.
If you feel you have to act in a relationship, then it's not good for you. Sometimes you just smile, you just want to please the relationship. And yet, when you are in the most optimal relationship, one of your twin flames, you do not need to explain. You're just accepted unconditionally. There is no need to have to explain yourself or dramatize or act or please them, for they understand you. This relationship is more like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and it is good in its nature, for there is passion, there is love, which is a good thing, and yet there is so much more than you can experience. You have so much potential, and why do you limit yourself? It does confuse us in spirit, for we say choose what you want, and be it a man, be it with food, be it with experience, we say choose a holiday, and many of you choose to stay in your own country. I mean, we say choose a holiday. It can be to space and back, it could be to the Maldives, it could be wherever you want. But many of your beings, you compromise yourselves. This relationship is compromising your potential, but it is 50%, it is neutral. It is not draining you, but it's not really nourishing you. Really, it's how to thrive. Guidance to thrive? Wouldn't that be a beautiful blessing? When you can allow yourself to receive the guidance so you can thrive, you can realize what a blessing it is to be alive. Remember this, dear one. We invite the next question.
Thank you. Benim iş konusunda biraz kafam karışık. Çünkü şu anki aile firmamız gittikçe maddi olarak sıkıntıya giriyor. Fakat babamı bırakmak istemiyorum. Daha doğrusu eğer bu işi kapatırsam babam tamamen boşta kalacak, çalışmadan kopacak diye. Yani babam için devam ettirmeye çalışıyorum. Kız kardeşimle bir şey yapabiliriz, ona destek olabilirim. Ama eğer tamamen boşta kalırsam ne yapabilirim, hangi yöne gideceğim? Çok sıkışık bir psikolojim var şu an iş konusunda. Bu konuda destek istiyorum.
I need a guidance about, we have a family company which is financial issues right now, and I just don't want to leave my father because I'm working and supporting him. I'm working with him and supporting him. So I need to get an answer about if I could do something with my sister also, or if I am gonna close this, what is my father is gonna do, or should I do something very different by myself, which is motivating my creativity, and I don't know what it is also. I'm really very confused and need a guidance about my job right now.
There is much change and much support being given in the guidance. We see that you are a family, you will always be part of family. We remind you the message of sisterhood. We see that it would be most optimal for you to do partnership with your sister. We also see that times are changing, and it would be beneficial to help your father move along. You can still keep the situation if you want, but there could be we're seeing a gold shop, or someone else may want it, otherwise you could transform it. He needs to kind of be released, and he's holding on to it because he wants to provide for the family, but really times have changed, things have changed now, and things need to be adjusted, a little bit tweaked, shall we say. The message is in the gold, for the future is golden, dear one. And we would like to remind you that when you are really helping people, people will thrive and enjoy being alive. Your purpose involves helping people, and therefore that is why we say sisterhood. For when sisters reunite, they help each other and you help the world. How beautiful this is, dear one. Always keep the heart in the family, and yet ultimately girl power. You know, when sisters reunite, you can provide, you can still help for your father. But he needs to know that he doesn't have to be keep the processing place alive, shall we say. We invite the next question.
Thank you. I'm just asking, like the continuous of my sister's questions. You know, I have a place in my mind in Bebek, and we can rent it if it's the right thing for us. And can we produce a new product there, which we have discussing with some people now. And I also want to ask my book's name. It's From the Land to the Sky, Health, if it's true name for my book. Thank you.
Firstly, with your book, we like the wording, and yet it's not quite tweaked enough. Rather like as below, so above, so above, so below, but it's more about integrated health. For when things are integrated, even a seed is connected to the stars, even the sprouts are connected to the stars, and vice versa. When you are fully integrated, you can also apply that health to yourself. If it was from the soil to the stars, that is like beings were looking outside of themselves to achieve their health. We like the idea for it's connecting the astrology with the health, with the foods, and yet integrated is important for the integrated, unified health of the stars and the things and the plants. But the theme is nice. We like it. But that is more like the theme for the poem on the back, you know. And the stars, it is lovely to have it involved. But it's like the earth and the stars are integrated into health. Play with it. It's still, I mean, the title of the book is always a corundum, a puzzle to unravel. But it must tickle your spirit and your heart. The location you have your eye on is almost correct. It is almost good. Just remember the message of the gold, dear one, for the gold will bring the keys home. And we wish to remind you there will be 5 sets of keys. There will be more that's revealed, but for now, bite-sized pieces. We invite the next question.
Thank you for honoring us. I'm grateful for your blessings. I'm ready to merge with the higher spirits and ready to float upwards as you communicated in surrender, total surrender. I have a person in my head. I would like to know if he's one of my twin flame, and if I'm going to have a child from him. Thank you.
Oh, dearest, you have free will, and At times you are at the top of the mountain, and then sometimes you try to come to other beings' level. It is not your twin flame who you are thinking, but they are one of your soul mates. What we wish to remind you is your twin flames take you up the mountain, whereas your soul mates sometimes are sticky. They stop halfway up the mountain with you. So when you truly remember this, if things are, the perspective has changed. You are on the path of ascension. There is no need to stay halfway up the mountain when you can go to the stars and back. Don't limit yourself, dear one. You are far greater than you could imagine, and relationships are deep things. They're not just about what they are seen. They all relationships come with a little bit of baggage. So try to connect with the spiritual relationships. That's the ones that feed you, dear one. You are loved beyond means, and you want the passion, and the passion comes. The passion, the love, the sex, the romance, whatever you would like, it comes. But it comes with ascension. It comes with raising up your kundalini and connecting to the origin, the source. And by doing so, you will truly be fed and nourished and be able to thrive. Whatever realm you merge with, they will not compromise your growth. Relationships in the past have compromised your growth. It is time for you to receive and give to yourself and be nourished, dear one. Bliss is the future. We would like to invite the next question, please.
Thank you for honoring us tonight. I'm all ready to hear if you have any message for me from my past or from my future, because I feel like I'm a bit lost in my emotions and my thoughts. So for to unleash my potential for my life's purpose, if you have any message, I would like to hear it. I need your guidance. Thank you.
When you go into the crystalline consciousness of your heart, of all that which is within, you shall remember who you are. What is happening is you have forgotten who you are. To be a little bit lost or confused is not a bad thing, for you are starting to surrender. If you were to think you were on the path, and you were indeed not, then we would say there's a problem. To be a little bit lost invites a few possibilities. You could find the right way, you could find the wrong way, or you could ask for guidance, and indeed you've asked some pure beings here in spirit. Therefore, if you ask a master in spirit, you will only receive the highest and the best. Therefore, as we are merging your past, your present, and your future realities into one, we are saying the cake is already done, the icing is already on the cake, and the cherry on top too. Rather like a cupcake is formed. You are shaping your reality, and there is nothing that you need to run away from. There is nothing you need to let go of. It is more about being. And when you be, you find this peace within you, and you connect with the inherent sacred wisdom and maturity of that which is within. You are learning, you are growing, dear one. There is still much to learn. You have still much guidance to pick up along the way, and yet always take half of it and put the other half aside until you're ready to process. We are seeing the month of February is a time of celebration for you. A new age is coming. Therefore, we are bringing through the message of joy and upliftment. We remind you that your health is very good. We remind you that you achieve great things. Therefore, you cannot be fully lost, for you will always be a success, dear one. We just remind you to work with the crystals and to work with, yes, more colour as well. Partnerships are good for you. Connect the dots, dear one. Well, we would like to invite you to smell the roses, for life is so much sweeter when you smell the roses and the chocolate and the experiences. Take time to smell. For if you are just buzzing around, hyperactively achieving what you want to achieve, you forget to smell the roses and the chocolate and the experience. Therefore, be present, dear one. Therefore, you cannot be lost. We invite the next question, dear ones.
Sağlıklı bir beden ve sağlıklı bir ruh için rehberliğe ihtiyacım var.
I need a guidance for a healthy body and a healthy spirit.
Çocukluk travmalarım var şiddetle ilgili.
I have childhood traumas about violence.
Ruhsal ve bedensel olarak zorlanıyorum.
I'm having difficulties in terms of physically and spiritually.
Şifam nerede?
How can I find the healing?
Çevremi de şifalandırmak istiyorum.
And I want to heal my surrounding.
Ve psikik bir yanım var gibi hissediyorum. Hislerim güçlü ama yabani. Yanılıyor muyum?
I have a strong sense, psychic, and
They are so wild, and if I'm right or wrong, I just want.
yeah, if I'm right or wrong, I just want to know.
Rather than your psychic ability, we would say you have precognition. You have some precognition and some awareness, for this came as an aspect to protect you for some of the fears and the abuse and the past that you were on. It is important as we come to you on the ray of justice. The justice comes on the ray of forgiveness as well. Forgiveness and justice brings peace. We foresee that you will be receiving a powerful healing, and it is important for you to work with the crystals and to work with the nature. For when you hug a tree, you receive energy. You buzz and you can set up electricity. When you work with a crystal, which is like a powerhouse, it is like an antenna that is rather like a digital computer or phone, which is like the satellite to higher reality. It is needed for you to experience healing and to work with the crystals. This will bring balance on a holistical sense. As we scan your spirit and your physical body, we are seeing that you have had many lives with extraterrestrials and in higher realms, and therefore this dimension has proven to cause you many pains and many injustices, because you are too pure for this reality. So it is like you had to be molded into the shape, rather like getting your teeth straightened or molding a candle. The candle wax was already organic and free, but when you put it in the mold, it hurts. Growth hurts. When a seed sprouts, it hurts. But the seed was always pure. But when the seed was born and it was planted in the earth, it was planted in Mother Earth, coming into the womb, coming into the soil, coming into Mother Earth. The sprouting, the growing was painful. And yet as the seeds started to sprout, the flower that was revealed was one of majestic beauty, but even more fragility than it was when it was a seed. Think of like a pumpkin seed. A pumpkin seed is strong and complete. It takes a big bite to get through the hard shell. And yet when it starts sprouting and then the little plant is sprouting, it is so vulnerable. This is, you still have memories like you are this vulnerable little sprouting shoot. And yet when the pumpkin gets to a ginormous pumpkin, it no longer has one seed, but thousands. Therefore, through the seed of healing, working with crystals and balance and harmony, all relationships in your life will attain some harmony. There was a period of 4 years separation that is symbolic, and there is the need to remember that your future is one of brightness and one of protection and safety. It is important to enjoy the softness and purity of life now, for you cannot be hurt, dear one. You are loved and you are safe, and you are so held, for there have been terrible injustices that have happened in the world. Terrible things go on, and yet you are loved and you are protected beyond means, and your future is one of safety. Indeed, the channeler went through horrendous injustices. Many things in her life, and yet we see she has come through the other side and she is living on earth, but 99% of her is not of the earth or in the earth at any one time anyway. Therefore she cannot be tortured and abused again. You are similar, just the percentages are a little bit different. Know that you are safe, dear one, and know that if another does any bad thing with bad intention to another, they will be punished 100-fold. Therefore, keep on the path of light and know you are loved, you are safe, you are protected, and keep your eyes to the light, for then you can see no darkness. Do not let another blindfold you, dear one. You are loved beyond means. We invite the next question.
Thank you. I'm so stick to my comfort zone. I always know that I limit myself in everything I do. I have a strong passion in acting. I love my boyfriend, but I don't also want to leave him to live more things. When will I be able to unlimit myself? What's the triggering point? When will it happen? And what should I do to trigger myself and not unlimit myself? Thank you.
Dearest, we appreciate your efforts and your struggles and your continuation, for life was not really easy. There were times where you even contemplated wanting to leave the world. We will not use the word beginning with S, but we understand you know what we mean. There were times when you were really you were prepared to go. You wanted to go to other place, and yet we commend you on getting through what you've been through. We see the love around you now and how things have improved, and yet you need to love yourself more, for you are always giving the love, and you forget that to love oneself unconditionally is a great thing, really. If all beings could love themselves unconditionally, it would be like there would be roses everywhere. Therefore, really, the way to break out of this egg, this shell of suffering, is to love yourself. For you give the love to your boyfriend, you give the love to the acting, but how can you truly love yourself is about spending those quiet times. For you have started to contemplate a lot more recently. Before, you were always overanalyzing. You are on the path now of more contemplation, more about the quietness. Hold a leaf. What does a leaf communicate? Hold a crystal. What does it communicate? When you eat something, what is it communicating? For some people eat something and it is love, it is life. Some people eat something and feel guilty. Some people eat something and it invokes a memory. Some people hold a leaf and it invokes lightheartedness, fun, playfulness. Some people hold a leaf and it symbolizes decay. Therefore, your perception and allowing yourself to communicate with yourself, with your higher self, is the key, dear one. You are loved beyond means, and your future is bright. We invite the next question, dear ones.
Thank you. 9 yaşında bir kızım var ve benim için onun fizyolojik ve psikolojik gelişimi çok önemli. Hatta benim için her şeyden önemli. Evliliğimizdeki o sorun dolayısıyla evet, ikinci çocuk yapmamak gerekiyor dediniz biraz önce de. Fakat ben hani kardeşlerimin desteğini hayatta çok fazla hissettiğim için onu bu duygudan mahrum bırakmak ne kadar doğru bilmiyorum. Evliliğimi devam ettirmek ne kadar doğru onu da şöyle düşünüyorum. Ya, eşim bizi seviyor, hep yanımızda, çok evcil bir adam. Fakat bir tutku eksikliği var aramızda. Ben de çok tutkulu bir kadın değilim. Fakat son dönemlerde iyice artık bunun eksikliğini hissetmeye başladım. O da bir adım atmaya çalışıyor ama çok yavaş ve çok ağır. Yani bu bana yeter mi yetmez mi? Geriye dönüp baktığımda sonra pişman olur muyum bilmiyorum. Ama hani bu kadar zaman dayandım çocuğum için. Belki ona da dayanabilirim. Ama bu doğru mu yanlış mı? Bu fikirler arasında gidip geliyorum.
So I have a daughter which is 9 years old, and I know that my marriage is not going well, but I am confused about. I have my siblings in my life as a big support, and I don't want to make her feel live with lack of siblings, and it's very important to me for her physical and psychological development. So I know that I cannot. We have lack of passion in our marriage, and we are trying to fix it. I saw that my husband is trying to do something, but he's so slow in this. So I don't know if I have the patience enough to wait him, and I don't know even if should I wait or not. But we have a kid, and I just very confused about all of these things, and maybe it's very important for my daughter to have a sibling, and I'm really very confused about it, and I'm struggling with it.
We appreciate your concerns, dear one, and yet we wish to remind you that when you have this passion, this love for yourself, it is not about being patient for another being to change, for you learn to love yourself. Therefore, the situation achieves a healing. It is more about you loving yourself, and that is being the best example for your child. For even if you were to have 100 children, it would not fix the situation. For children are not just children. They are more perceptive than we could imagine. The biggest thing is that your child will remember you for being strong and able to love themselves. This is important regardless of what goes on outside. When we are born alone. When we die alone. Therefore, what we are trying to remind you is the space between it is the legacy we leave to the world. The other colours, the other people, the other situations that happen is up to us to master. And we wish to remind you that children are the teachers. Therefore, we should stop trying to teach the children what they already know. For they know much more than we could ever know. It is more about coming home into your heart of yourself. The children have insight. It is not whether you should have another child or you shouldn't have another child, or more siblings or more children or more experiences. It's more about it being strong in who you are. For another cannot sparkle your cup. You have to sparkle your own cup, dear one. As much as we would like to assist in all areas of your life, at the end of the day, when you're in the shower, we can see you're in the shower, but we cannot have the shower for you. We cannot force you to eat. We cannot force you to love yourself. This is your potential. It is your growth. We love you, and we're here for you always, dear one. But do not think that anything is struggling or broken. It is more about mastery, dear one. You are supported, and you are guided. That is certain. We love you, and we want to remind you of your integrated emotions also. We love you, dear one. We invite the next question.
I love children, and I'm here to serve them, and I can serve them till the end of my life, and I'm very thankful for my nieces also. But I just wonder, will I be a mother in this lifetime? And if so, will it be from my twin flame? And if it's necessary for me to know, when will it be?
Indeed, but you still have times to get the buns baking. We say 2 years will be the fulfillment of your family. 2 to 4 years maximum, and we see the children, we see the twin flame, but you must complete this year, dear one. For this year is one about networking and creating your foundation for your business and your new home, and there will be support from the twin flame, but it's more about now creating your nest, and then a better nest comes, and then a better one, and upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. You have had things that worked but didn't work, and now you only take on board what you are ready to allow to thrive and bring essence to you. For you are an old soul, dear one, and you have wise children to bring forth to the world. This is certain, dear one. We invite the final question for tonight.
Thank you for honoring us. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the channeler. I claim and invoke my highest power. I claim and invoke my Kundalini arising for the highest good of womb, for the highest good of light, for the highest good of myself.
We are grateful for you, dear one, and we are proud you are claiming and invoking all that which is in your expanding essence and higher self of reality, which is expanding. We are proud, for many beings come for guidance, and now you have got the keys of mastery. Count your keys and write them down step by step. For there are keys which are being given to you beyond what you could comprehend. And when you know what to do with a key, the future is one of infinity and one of unified oneness into higher reality. We would like to remind the message of the theme tonight. Perfectionism should be transformed. And notice, we don't always say should, we very rarely say should. Perfectionism should be transformed into higher power. Therefore, you will be able to guide and assist and direct any lower energies or fears of yourself or others to higher awareness and higher interdimensional communication with all that which is to the ultimate source, in love and divine harmony, until we meet again, for we will meet almost all of you again. We greet you, and we send you showers of love. Goodbye, good love.
Thank you. Thank you.
So there is much to celebrate.
Oh, really?
Safir.